Heyo, it's summertime here down under, so recently I went to the beach. And being around the ocean kind of reminded me of how much I like the sounds of the waves and how relaxing that kind of sound is. I recorded a few clips of different sounds I liked, and in this video we're gonna make a song out of them. So, unlike most of my sound design videos, I only decided to record 3 sounds. First of all, we've got the sounds of the waves just rolling in. And then I collected a few seashells around the beach and kind of shook them for a shaker sound or a tambourine sound. Last of all, I threw a log that I found into the ocean to get that nice satisfying plop. So yeah, it is a small range of sounds to work with, but this time around I think I can actually go into detail with each sound and make more instruments from just one sound each. A lot of these sound design videos are my longest videos, like taking time to write the song and then produce it, and then even editing is all a whole nother thing, which is why I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like and also subscribe. It'd really help me out to make more videos like this. So enough talking around, I'm gonna head into Logic Pro. So I've just opened a new project in Logic Pro, and what we can actually do here, I can actually drag and drop my clips into the project, and then I just hit OK. If the movie frame rate doesn't match the project frame rate, then it'll ask me if I want to change it, and I will change it, so I'll just use 30 FPS. Now my project comes up as an audio file with the clip attached in the Logic Pro. So now I can right click this region and go down to bounce and join and just click bounce in place. I'm just going to name it water splash. Now that's converted the audio into a separate audio file that isn't attached to the movie clip. So I can go ahead and delete this movie track. And now I can pull up this sampler here and drag and drop this audio file into the sampler. As you can see, this video clip goes for quite a while before I actually drop the log in. So what I can do is I can just pull this here and drag over here until we get to the water drop. And then I can pull this tab down here so it cuts the video somewhere else. And then these arrows, these little things on the top, are just to fade in and fade out, just in case you want a bit more subtlety. It can also be used to get rid of popping sounds that you hear when the sound suddenly cuts off. So now I'm going to do the same for the other 2 videos, and we're going to see what instruments I can make. Alright, I've just imported all the sounds into the sampler and just tweaked them around until I found something that was kind of usable. So I'm just going to go through the instruments real quick and tell you how I made them. At the very top we've got the natural sound of the ocean waves, and I think that would be very nice to have just floating in the background. Our first sound was that water splash sound that you heard earlier. So that's just me dropping the log into the water. It's a very raw sound. I might change it a little bit, but it'll be kind of a percussive element. Next is this water splash snare. As you can see, I've actually done some EQ to get rid of the waves in the background and try and focus on that kind of water droplet. I've actually pitched it up an octave to get more of a higher and tighter snare sound, and I've run that through distortion as well, just to really fatten up the snare a bit more. Next we've got a seashell hi-hat that I used rattling the seashells. Again, I've done some EQ just to get rid of that rumbling wave sound that was in the background and really highlight the hi-hat sound. Pitched it up, and once you do all that, you get a unique but kind of natural percussive sound. Next we've got a seashell rattle. On the sampler, I skimmed through the audio file and I found this particular section which sounded pretty nice. And I've added some reverb just to sparse out the mix. Then we've got the seashell shaker, which is a tongue twister, but also it's another part of the audio file that I took and just EQ'd a little bit, added a bit of reverb. And both of these have been panned left and right just to give a bit more dynamic space to the mix. Then we've got the Ocean Wave synth number 1 and 2. These ones were made with the raw track of the ocean waves, which is this. And then I actually turned that into a pad. On this track I've created 3 separate channel EQs. Each channel EQ has 2 boosted frequencies where the Q is really high, just to highlight those frequencies as much as possible. And I've done it for 2 synths, so I can have 2 different types of chords with 2 different channel EQs. Now while I was on the beach trip, I actually wrote this little chord progression on guitar. So I'm going to use the guitar chord progression as the foundation of that song, and then decorate it with all the little instruments that I've just made. Future Adam here. So I realized I didn't have any bass instruments here to really fill up the bass frequencies of the song. So what I've done is I've duplicated the snare sound and I've pitched it down a few octaves and added some channel EQ just to highlight the bass frequencies, and you've got a little bit of information in the higher 1K to 2K frequency to get it to cut through the mix, and then you get a pretty convincing lo-fi bass sound. I've just spent some time on the beat and it's sounding pretty good so far. I've definitely gone for a more chill lo-fi type beat that I don't usually do, but I think it really captures that atmosphere of the ocean and being at the beach. Just before I do the big reveal, once again, thank you for watching another video of mine. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment as well about anything really, because it helps a lot if you engage with the video and it promotes the algorithm, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, without further ado, here's the song.